There are two main branches of economics. One is microeconomics and the other one is macroeconomics. So when we talk about microeconomics, it deals with the study of the individual units of the economy or of the society. So what are these individual units that we're talking about? So these are the main individual units, the firm and the household. So if you're going to discuss about demand, we're talking about the household side. If you're talking about supply, we're talking about the side of the seller or the producer or the firm. So to explain the phenomenon in economics, we use certain models. So one of the models used is the circular flow diagram. So this is the circular flow diagram. So later on you will know why is it called circular. So there are two main agents involved, okay? The firm and the household. So the firm sells something to the household, okay? And that is what we call the goods and services. So the firm sells goods and services to the household through the product market. So market, as we all know, is a place where buyers and sellers met. So like a school is a market, a pharmacy is a market, we have malls, etc., etc. So those are examples of market wherein goods and services are being sold. So the difference between goods and services, goods are tangible products, you can touch, you can see, whereas services are intangible products. Now in return, the household has to give something to the firm, and that is what we call the expenditures. So this is the money spent by the household as a form of payment for the products or services provided by the firm. Now, here, the household is also selling something to the firm. So what are these? You know the factors of production, right? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So it is the household that provides the firm with those factors through the factor market. So this is now the market for the factors of production. So in return, the firm pays something to the household. So if the household is offering land, labor, capital, the firm has to pay something in form of salaries or wages, rent, interest. Okay. So let's take for example Asian College, our school. Is it a market? Yes, it's a market because there are sellers and there are buyers. Let's look at the product market. What does what does Asian College sell? Services, right? Like your education, your degree, diploma program, etc., etc. So in return, you pay in a form of tuition fees, correct? So Asian College is the seller and you are the buyer. Now when it comes to the factor market, who is the buyer here? Asian College, the firm. Who's the seller? It could be the teachers. So as teachers, we sell our services to the school, to the firm. So we are from the household, we sell our services to the firm, and in return, the firm pays us in a form of salaries or wages. So when we talk about microeconomics, it just simply deals with the economy based on these individual units. But when we talk about macroeconomics, it deals with the economy as a whole. So, here, plus the government is involved. The government is involved here because the firm and the household pays taxes and the government does something to regulate prices, to put up a price freeze, price ceiling, or price floor. But we will not discuss it here. Our main discussion is on the government, the rest of the world, and the banks. So we're talking about the macro perspective of the economy. Okay? So we put here banks. These are financial institutions. Okay? And we have the rest of the world. So when we say the money circulates within the economy, we simply mean that the money circulates between the household and the firm. Okay? So when you say economic circulation, naano siya sa firm or sa household. But when we talk about the intervention of the government, banks, and the rest of the world, it would be a different story. Money will either go out or money will enter the circulation or will circulate in the economy. So how? So, example, the firm pays taxes to the government. What do you think will happen to the money in the circulation? Will it decrease or will it increase? It will decrease because it will go out of the circulation. It goes to the government's vault. So that's why it's called outflow. So taxes. Okay? But the government does something so that money will go back to the circulation. How? Through government expenditures, right? So government spending allows the money to go back to the circulation. So when the government puts up, for example, bridges, highways, public school buildings, so of course it will hire people, and of course hire people from the household, and of course it will buy materials from the firm. So that's what we call inflows. The money goes back to that circulation. Another way or another reason why money goes out of the circulation is because when we save. So savings will actually what? Decrease the money supply in the circulation because the money goes to the vault of the bank. Right? So when the money goes to the vault of the bank, it will actually go back to the circulation, economic circulation, when people borrow money for investment. Okay? So investment allows money to go back to the circulation. Whereas savings will decrease the money supply in the circulation. Another way, or another reason why money goes out of the circulation, it's when we import. What do you mean by import? We buy a product from other countries. In return, we have to pay them. So money goes out of the circulation. Okay? So that's what we call the rest of the world. Okay? So when we import, money goes out. However, when we export, so export means Filipinos or the Philippines is selling products to other countries. In return, we will receive their payment. So, once we receive their payment, the money goes back to the circulation. Alright, so all of these taxes, savings, and import, this is what we call outflows. And the export, investment, and government spending are what we call as inflows. So later on we will discuss how the government utilize all of this to make policies, monetary policies or fiscal policies. If the economy is experiencing a recession or there's inflationary gap, contractionary gap, so the government will make use of these things to stabilize the economy.